watching Cold.Blooded.Envisions. Welcome to another video on the channel. Today I'm down here in the reptile room, as you can see. Today I wanted to show you some animals that are not being kept in brumation. For all the people who haven't watched, this is your first video. All the animals in the videos prior were going into brumation or the dormant period because it's winter and I want them to follow the season cycles because it's like that in the areas where they're from as well. And it helps with breeding, stimulate breeding, and go through their natural life cycle. So with these animals here, none of these are going into brumation, and so it's a little bit more exciting to see animals that are awake. So I figured that's what I'll do in this video. There's about 9 animals on this rack here. A couple permanent enclosures, a couple temporary enclosures. The temporary enclosures are because these animals will eventually grow out of these cages, and so I've just given them a few places to hide, some water, and some real basic things. And then once they go in their permanent enclosures, then they'll have a little bit more because I don't have to worry about moving things around. So anyway, enough talking about it. Let's show you what's on this rack. All right, so this is the rack. As you can see, some of these cages, the glass is blurry and things like that. But I'll go ahead and start with my favorite cage, my favorite animal. This right here is a captive bred 2020 Heloderma horridum. It's a super black Mexican bearded lizard. I've got the cage open because I'm not worried about these guys. As you can see, they move really sluggish. And look, he's really calm. Now this guy is venomous, so I don't recommend people just handling these guys unless they're familiar. I've hatched this one out, and so I've had it about 2 years, and I've handled it quite a bit, so I'm not worried about getting bit by this guy. But you see how dark he is. That is not very common with Mexican bearded lizards. A lot of times there's a lot more yellow, and this one was selectively bred with dark animals. Well, the parents were dark animals bred specifically for that dark trait. And so this one is exceptionally dark, and I've kept it for hopefully to be a future breeder. I believe it to be a male. I can't tell 100% because you really can't accurately sex these guys until they reach sexual maturity. They do say that as babies you can tell, and I believe there is some truth to that, but I don't believe it's 100% accurate. And hopefully they'll do the DNA testing soon. You can also ultrasound, but I don't have that capability right now. So I'm just waiting for it to be of age. And then when it reaches the correct age, I'll put it with a female and see if it will breed. If it doesn't, then it's most likely a female as well. Anyway, as you can see, he's getting out, so I'm going to move on to the next cage and see you in a minute. All right, and here's the other cage on the top right. I'm going in order from age. So these two here are about the same size. The one that's darker was a sibling to those last two in that other cage. But as you can see, much smaller. I don't know what's going on, but I sold that animal and I got it back. And it just was much smaller, and it has been the whole time. So I'm thinking it may be a female, but I can't guarantee that right now. One other thing that I'm thinking is it could be a dwarf animal. I haven't heard of that before, but, well, at least in Mexican bearded lizards, but I'm not going to put it past it. It's very small compared to the last one that you've seen. And then the one underneath is a 2021 animal that I hatched from a different pair. And as you can see, that animal is really spotted, and the parents were pretty spotted as well. It's the only one that made it from that clutch. So I held that one back as well. As you can see, there's a water area. There's several cork pieces, a couple rocks, a hide under the heat lamp. So lots of different areas for these guys to hide. They've got plenty of space for now. Next year, most likely they'll be getting an upgrade as well. Really cool animals. I know the one underneath is acting a little irritated right now. It's because I just sprayed their enclosure, so the one on the top is moving around a lot, which if it's walking all over the other one, can irritate them, but usually there's no problems. I haven't seen any biting or anything like that. But all right, let's move on to the next cage. All right, so moving from the top right over to the top left, I have one single holdback Heloderma horridum. This baby right here was from the 2022 season. As you can see, it's really dark as well. This one right here is still in the process of losing color. It's called ontogenesis, or ontogenesis, I believe. And it's where it loses its color, or it changes from its baby colors to its adult colors. And this one is still in that process. And I really like the extra dark animals, and so I kept this one back. This one right here, I believe, will be one of the darkest animals I've ever hatched. And so I'm really happy I held this one back. I literally almost sold this one. But then I noticed the color changing super dark, and I'm like, I need to keep this one. So yeah, this baby was hatched in March of 2022. All right, so we're gonna move over to the next cage. Oh, here we go. We got a little bit of movement here. But we're gonna move to the next cage. All right, so we moved from all those big cages, and we're gonna go over down here to the bottom left, smaller cage. And you've got a gecko on the wall here, a lot of cork bark. And on the wall here, we've got a Chihuahua gecko. This one's expected to be a female, and there should be a male in here also. Not breeding age yet, but getting close. Yeah, there's so many places to hide, so I felt comfortable putting the male and female together. And I haven't seen any issues, but also it looks like we're not going to be able to see the male today. This is the Chihuahuas. Looks like they knocked down their leaves, but typically those leaves are all around the walls there. All right, and from here, we'll move over to the next cage, which is a male and female pair of crested geckos. And this is the female here on the wall. And then the male is right there hiding in the lay bin. She typically fires up really light. She's a little dark right now, but she fires up really light. And then he is almost a black color when he's fired up. As you can see, there's quite a bit of cork in here and branches as well. And then a cork or a bark looking background. And they can climb on that as well. All right, and that is all of the enclosures for this rack. We've got the crested geckos, the Chihuahua geckos, then the other three are Heloderma horridum enclosures. Heloderma horridum is my favorite species of reptile or lizard. I do like some of these snakes as well, but as you can tell, these Heloderma are super awesome as well. Alright, so if you made it this far, thank you for watching. As you can see, this is the first Heloderma horridum that I showed you in the first enclosure. It's a really chill animal, really calm, as you can see. I don't recommend anybody handling this species. I do it with this one because I've had this one since it was a baby. I hatched it out of the egg. and it's very comfortable with me. I'm very comfortable with it. But as you can see, those are all the animals that I'm going to show for this video, and they're all the animals that are on this rack. I do have other animals that I will be showing in other videos, but that's it for this one. And if you have any comments, go ahead and leave them below. I do accept constructive criticism, video ideas, anything. So go ahead and leave a comment. I do know that this one deserves an upgrade, and it will be getting one when the enclosure is done. Hopefully that'll be in the spring. The company who is making the enclosure does have long lead times, so I'm looking forward to upgrading this one as well. But for right now, this one can fully stretch out in that enclosure, and I'm very comfortable with it being in there. There's extra branches and places for it to hide, so plenty of climbing opportunities and stretching out. But anyway, that's going to be a lot of what this content is on this channel, is Heloderma species. I like Gila monsters, Mexican bearded lizards, but there are plenty of other animals that I'm into and that I've done research on, so I may have other videos from other collections or different other places that I go to. And anyway, that'll be it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.